thank you, you're welcome. Stop saying you're welcome. Em inglês nós temos muitas opções de falar ou expressar nossa gratidão e responder. Hoje eu vou te ensinar 15 maneiras mais comuns de falar de nada ou não há de quê. E vamos começar agora.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Em primeiro lugar, é muito importante notar que you're welcome é correto.
It's okay, you're welcome.
You're welcome. You're. Parece you're. You're welcome. You're welcome. É correto.
You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome.
E entendido no mundo inteiro. Mas não vai ouvir muito. E aí os problemas começam. Porque pode ser mal entendido. A pessoa falou de nada, mas infelizmente você não ouviu. Você não entendeu essa maneira de falar. Então faz o quê? Você tem que praticar falar. E nós vamos olhar situações em Inglês. Os vídeos que eu vou postar vai ser em Inglês.com. Essa é uma site que você pode usar, é bem bacana. Vai colocar uma frase e você pode ver a frequência dessa frase. Ok? Está pronto? For example, if someone gives me something or hands me something, I'm gonna say thank you, and they're gonna say sure, no problem. Of course, no problem. Or of course, don't mention it. Or sure, don't mention it. Lots of ways to combine these you're welcomes. Let's look at an example of this.
Don't mention it, Mr. Chen. Don't mention it, Mr. Chen.
Another way to say you're welcome is you got it. For example, my alarm doesn't go off and my wife wakes me up. I say thanks. She says you got it. She could also say don't mention it. She could say sure, don't mention it. Of course, don't mention it. Of course. Not a problem. Of course. You got it. You got it. You got it. Try to repeat that. You got it. But the sound, because of the T with the I, makes a D sound. You got it. You got it. Let's look at an example of this.
Thanks so much.
You got it, man.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. The T with the vowel makes it sound like a D. Not a problem. Going out of your way to clean something or fix something for someone. For example, I accidentally broke a glass. And my wife says, I'll get it. And she's cleaning it up and I say, thanks. She says, not a problem. Not a problem. Or, sure, no problem. Or, sure, no worries. Or, forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Let's look at an example of this.
Much for your time today, Tris. It's been great talking to you.
No problem. Thanks for the invitation.
Not at all. No biggie. No biggie é jeito de falar no big deal. No big deal. Sure, no big deal. Of course, no big deal. Lots of options in this situation. Let's look at an example of this.
Yeah, I'll take you around, Mike. No big deal.
My pleasure. My pleasure is used when you want to emphasize that you really enjoyed something. For example, thank you for coming. My pleasure. My pleasure. Let's look at an example of this.
But thank you again for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you, Daniel.
It was nothing is used to minimize the small favor or gift you gave to someone. For example, I got home from work and brought my wife wife some inexpensive but beautiful flowers. She said, "Oh, thank you." And I said, it was nothing. Or, no biggie. Could use no biggie. Or, no big deal. Let's look at an example of this.
It was nothing. It was nothing.
When you actually ask someone for some help, for example, you say, "Thanks for helping me move." You can respond with, "I'm happy to help," or "anytime," which suggests that you'd be willing to do it again. And you have to have situations where you would see the person and it would happen again. Let's look at an example of this.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with me, man.
Anytime, buddy.
Now, if I'm painting a house and my wife asks if I need any help, and I say, "No thanks, but man, I could really use a glass of water." Okay? Or some tea. And she gets it for me. I say, "Thanks." She says, "It's the least I can do." Why? Because it's small in comparison to my work. I'm painting and I'm doing more work. She's not doing anything at that moment, and so it shows that she would like to do even more. I'm telling her I don't need help. She would like to help me more if possible, so it's the least I can do. Let's look at an example of this.
Yeah, dude, it's the least I can do.
So how you respond to thanks really depends on the situation. They're not all the same. So someone opens the door for you at a store or a restaurant. What do you say? I say, "Thanks." If you hold the door open for someone, how do you respond? So I can say lots of things here. I can't say anytime. I don't know the person. I'm not offering to do this in the future, so it's not any time. I would say, sure thing.
Thanks for being here. Sure thing.
Of course. My pleasure. Even, You open the door, "Thanks, It's a way of acknowledging the thank you, which is as good as a "you're welcome." If someone says thank you, you must say something to not be rude. Stop saying "you're welcome," not forever, but try a week or two and practice these, because we use them all the time. "You're welcome," the you're welcome will be used, but probably 1 out of 10. Okay, that's the frequency. 1 out of 10 times. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like the content, if you like the lesson. Remember, you need to hear it, you need to see it, and you need to say it every day. See you next time.